This video may be controversial, not in the sense that I'm giving my opinion on the SRC based on specific people, like I said it was going to, but because I'm giving my opinions based on how I've seen the community act over the years. And no, that doesn't mean I'm saying the community acts like shit. That's not going to be my argument. I've had to rethink how I word this video because I don't want bad blood between me and anyone else who can get caught in the crossfire. So while I am going to be talking about certain bits of drama, since I'm including certain people as a group, no specific names are going to be mentioned unless we're talking about positive aspects of the community. As the title suggests, all of these thoughts were made from my point of view. I feel like this is a better way to communicate my thoughts, especially since there's info pertaining to me that has affected my experience here. And obviously, since it's my experience, not all of you are going to share the same feelings as me. If you're in this community, your experience can either be more positive or more negative than mine, so your views are going to be different. If you don't agree with me on certain topics, that's fine. I will warn you that this is going to get very personal, and I really want to open up with my true thoughts in hopes that things may get better, but we'll see where that goes. When you really look into this community, it's a sort of unspoken truth that there is no hierarchy here. Some of us look at this community and think the popular remixers, who are absolutely incredible at what they do, are like the leaders, and then you just have everyone else who is kind of just there. But that's not actually the case. The truth is, we don't actually have a hierarchy. We're a community just like everyone else. If you're good at what you do, you gain a lot of respect, and bonus points if you haven't gotten into any drama, but you're not working your way up through a system just by doing this. You may be asked for stuff you weren't originally asked to do back then, like participating in a collab and such, but in no way are you receiving a higher position of power. We're all in the same community. If we were a hierarchy, that would imply some remixers have a position of power, which they don't. Throughout what I've seen in this community, it makes me so happy that there are some really good remixers here who don't see this as a popularity contest or a hierarchical fan base. They see themselves on the same playing field as everyone else. And while they could make their way for higher status, they choose not to, because that's not why they're here. The primary reason this community exists is because we make remixes as a hobby. If we were actually a hierarchy, it would defeat the whole purpose of the community. Because of all the drama that's occurred this year, it's great to just have good people overall. What I mean is that we have people who bring a positive light in what a lot of people see as a dark space. You can see really good examples of this through this post that I made, asking you all who you thought showed a positive light in the community. And the answers were really what you'd expect. We share a lot of similar opinions on this. I've said a lot of times you have people like Gary and Lily who are very positive when it comes to building this community and are arguably very wholesome, especially in the way of bringing attention to smaller remixers who are absolutely incredible in what they do. The type of behavior that all these people show are what give me hope for this community. When you have people who communicate with everyone here, like they're actual people, it builds positivity in at least some parts of the community. I would be lying if I said that a lot of people listed from this post weren't the biggest reason why I'm still around right now. This is a section that I've had to reuse from my old script because I still have the same opinion on this. I guess I should explain what I mean by the title, though. It's very vague. We've had a lot of drama this year, and it's because a lot of people got exposed for past scummy behavior. And as someone who's covered drama and stumbled across it, I know for a fact not everyone has been called out. There are still people who have said some things that would probably get them canceled. But this section isn't to call out those people. This section was made to call out the behaviors that go on when these people eventually get called out. I had a venting section in the original script for this video that I believe still fits here, so let me read that. I can say that most, if not all of the drama that we've seen happen this year happens because of one of three things. A, they don't take the time to think things over and calm down. B, they don't know when to keep their mouths shut. Or C, they don't know when to admit their own faults. All three of these points can be summed up like this. To certain people, it is somehow easier to risk throwing their career away rather than take the time to think things over. I've questioned throughout my time here as to why these remixers can take years to gain thousands of fans and make these outstanding remixes and then throw it all away because they would rather die on their own hill than admit that they were wrong. Now, I'm not saying the entire community does this. I'm not going to let what anyone else has done this year affect my absolute opinion on this community, because that's just unfair. What I am saying is that we wouldn't be having drama at all this year if some people actually thought about what they were about to do, rather than take the risk of trying to be the one in the right. I'm going to tell you all the brutal truth. Admitting your own faults has less negative consequences than throwing your career away. Risking everything you have in this community is what actually causes things to go downhill and has the drama start spiraling. Take the time to think about your situation before you do something stupid. Keep your mouth shut so you don't say something you'll regret later, and see the situations from everyone's point of view, however that may be possible. To add on to that section, there is a fourth cause to certain drama, but it really only pertains to smaller pieces of drama. In rare instances, there may be times where drama may repeat. A person will say something that can be seen as hurtful, they'll apologize for their behavior, and then they'll just go right back to saying the hurtful things after everything settles down. In shorter terms, it's just an unhealthy cycle, and it's happened too many times. Now, are these people that this pertains to necessarily bad people? Not really, but it's not unlikely to see it that way. These remixers could have good intentions, and I'd hate to dig deep and do a psychoanalysis, but the fact that it's a cycle makes it harmful to them and other people. Overall, the behavior that comes with drama is destructive in the sense that anyone can get hurt in this. It's not out of the question for some people to want these remixers to be called out, and it's perfectly reasonable. Nobody wants to be in a situation where they're hurt by remixers they look up to or remixers that they considered good people in general. Despite what I've said in this section, I do hope the best for the ones who were in drama, both still in the community and out of the community. I really do wish that they would change for the better. The behaviors we've seen when it comes to drama can understandably turn some people away from here, so again, I hope the best for them and hope they do better. Speaking of drama, there have been certain instances where a person has neither apologized and then said something to get themselves canceled again, nor have they doubled down. There have been a couple of times where a remixer has been genuinely remorseful when they've been called out on the things they've said. The problem comes when you're still going on about it months after it happened and everyone's moved on. I get it. People hold grudges, and sometimes that's not a good thing. I'm not gonna go into much detail about why I'm talking about this. All I'll say is that it was an instance that happened earlier this year. If you remember what happened in the situation, you'd know it was really bad. I'd agree that what was said was wrong, and it should have been absolutely condemned for like maybe a month or two. Still today, the remixer I'm talking about is still having the situation held over their heads. Again, I agree that what was said should have been condemned, but why the fuck do some of these remixers still feel the need to hold it against them? You can't do it forever because it's ridiculous. Now, I can understand completely if you don't want to associate with that person. Your anger is justified in that sense. But if you're actively seeking them out and engaging with them, then you look like you just want to start more drama. In this community, if someone creates drama bad enough for them to get called out, then it's probably not the best idea to condemn them so much when they genuinely feel remorseful for what they did and actually want to improve. And especially when they literally have not been in any drama since the incident. If we condemned every person in this community and held it over their heads even when they're remorseful, we wouldn't have a community. If a person in the community has done something to get themselves in trouble, they've started drama or something, and they haven't been kicked out of the community because of it, but you still don't like them because of that, hold your grudge all you want, but don't engage with them, because it makes it look like you want to start more drama, as I've said. I wanted this to be its own section because I wanted to be genuine for a second. No more of my commentary style since I know that it's not really well liked when it comes to drama. Over the past year or two, I've been questioning where I stand in the community. Some days I feel like no matter what I do, it's not going to do much in terms of standing out from everyone else or seeming unique. To put it bluntly, it feels like if I left the community right now, no one would care. I've scrapped many projects and rarely put out full remixes, not because I lacked the motivation to make them, but because I've gotten to a point where I despise my own remixing style, despite trying to flesh out and be more creative. From that point, it's developed into something deeper than just hating on my style. I now feel like no matter what I do in this community, it's not going to matter. Despite having people who would probably say they see me as a friend, it doesn't seem like that's true most of the time because of how little I feel I contribute. I originally did remixes as a hobby. I really enjoyed just making whatever sounded good. But now I've gotten to a point where I feel like I have to change something so that I would be considered good enough. And, again, this has been taking its toll since late 2022. Recently, you might know that I killed off Sparta Cop, and the reason behind it was because I was told on Discord that a lot of what I was putting out, like talking about drama and stuff, would actually end up hurting the community even more, including specific people. And so I removed every episode of Sparta Cop where none of the drama had to do with me. Any videos or community posts relating to the series or any drama were taken down as well. Over the next few days, I felt overwhelming guilt, not just because I was now realizing that I wasn't really as liked as I thought for talking about drama, but because I was also hurting people without knowing. It almost felt like the primary answer to why I felt the way I did since 2022, since that's when I started the series. Whether it actually is the answer or not is not my place to decide. Despite the fact I can say I really love this community, however, I feel like the community doesn't really like me. I can say that there are some people who would say they like me. I can't deny that. Yet, I still can't help but feel that if I left the community, it wouldn't matter. With what's happened, despite really enjoying the positivity, I can't help but feel like I contribute so little to this community. That's how I really feel. It would be nice to know if I'm actually liked here, or if I'm just wasting everybody's time. I'm not saying that I wish I had more friends to talk to or that I want to be invited to more collabs or shit like that. I just want to know if I'm liked. I want to know if me being here actually means something to you all. Nonetheless, with everything that's happened, I want to apologize to everyone who I have hurt during this time. My need to feel like I mean something in this community got in the way of my thinking. I also apologize for anything I've done in the past that has made me seem like a bad person. That was not the intention. I want to do better as a person and as a remixer, and I guess only time will tell how far that will go. So why am I rambling about my mental state when I'm supposed to be talking about my thoughts on the SRC? After taking down Sparta Cop, I also realized that while this video was supposed to be my thoughts, it felt like I was trying to convince you guys with one side over another. The best alternative was to give you my thoughts based on how I viewed the community over the 6 years I've been here, spiraling mental state and all. And so, here's my conclusion. This community has been the best thing to ever happen to me. The people I've had the pleasure of meeting have driven that point into my head. The community is full of positivity if you're looking in the right places. A lot of people will just look at the drama that's occurred and be like, this community sucks, or there's no hope for it anymore, and not take the good things into account as well. If you want to have an unbiased opinion on this community, then you need to look at it from both sides. Otherwise, you will continue to spiral more. We still have people here, as I've mentioned before, that need to be talked about because of the positivity they spread around. Without them, we would probably disbanded by now. My thoughts on the SRC are that when looking in the right places, It shows it can be a wholesome and positive community despite the drama it goes through. Every community will have its fair share of drama no matter how impactful it is, but you need to cut those parts off in order to see the true nature of the community. The nature of the SRC is that we strive to create quality music for others to listen to while also getting creative with it. Any people who were exposed for things they've said, for the most part, have been cut off already. Technically speaking, they can't define your thoughts on the community because we've already stopped claiming them as one of us. This community is definitely one of my favorites, and it is an honor to be a part of it, even when it doesn't feel like it sometimes.